1.
Hey, Brandon, let me know when they're live so I can put them on the air.
Okay, you can put them on the air now if you want.
Hey.
Now they're live.
Oh, hey, you're live.
Thanks, Nick. That was an excellent little skit you guys did.
Catholic
Excellent.
Answers Live now beginning its broadcasting day.
Boop.
Did you get my reference there?
Well, no.
SCTV.
SCTV. Very good,
okay.
Jimmy. SCTV now begins its broadcasting
Do you remember?
day.
Well, I should say this. Hi, I'm Cy Kellett. Catholic Answers Live starts in about 14 minutes.
Broadcasting to the greater Melonville area.
and this is Jimmy Aiken. He's senior apologist here. You got to be here at least like 20 years before you can be called senior apologist. What are you, like 25?
20, going on 26 now.
Going on 26. And then the other feller over there is Chris Check, the president of Catholic Answers. Here to make sure, I suppose, that we behave ourselves. Actually, yeah, I think you encourage
Actually, I didn't know
misbehavior.
you during the pre-show. I just came in here to shoot the breeze with you, and you said, do you want to be on the pre-show?
Nice.
Actually, what I think you said is, are you going to impose yourself on the pre-show?
That is not what happened. I said, we're starting the pre-show. You're on it. So
Sweet.
sweet. Yeah. So
So you didn't give him a choice. He had no free will.
he does have free will, but I gave him a command. He could
Okay.
choose whether or not to follow it.
I see.
And he chose it. He chose to follow.
It was providential that I would follow it. Your command.
Wow. It's getting
It w-
so thick. In
By
here.
your command.
Okay. So
Got the reference there?
888-291-8000.
okay.
Yeah.
888-291-8000 is the number, of course, because we're raising money. We did get some very fine people. I assume they're very fine people. I don't actually know that to give us matching money for
Yeah.
both hours.
Yes.
Oh, no, that makes them very fine.
Okay,
it
we'll just put
does.
them in the very fine people category. Second hour, 15 grand.
Yep.
15 grand. If you're out there and you're like, hey, I got 5 grand, I can bump them up to 15 grand for the first hour. Call Chris, 888-291-8000.
Actually, call anyone. And
Call
just let
anyone.
them know.
Yeah,
Yes,
just-
that's
just
right.
yell.
If you want me to call you back, I will. Absolutely.
Yeah. And we are. I like to give the update. We're doing okay. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
We're not. I wouldn't say it's on a trajectory to overflow, but we are on a trajectory where we could reasonably.
So yesterday at the beginning of the second hour, we were halfway through the drive, but
Oh, yeah,
only 33% of the way to our overall drive goal.
Right.
Today, before the show starts, we are 2/3 of the way through the drive, but we've gotten that figure for the overall drive goal up to 49%. So we're basically halfway there towards our drive goal, but that still means we're behind
Yeah.
for the overall drive because we only have 2 hours left, and so that's only 1/3 of the drive. So we need to get that up.
Yeah. Right.
And the way to do that
There you go.
is by folks calling 888-291-8000. You see, it can be said slowly. And you can also go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com, no matter where you are in the world, if you're in another country, if you're in another time zone, if you're listening delayed via podcast or on YouTube or Facebook or however you're hearing us, you can always go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. It's also available on your phone, so you could go there. It's a mobile, responsive web design, so you can make your donation safely and securely online over your phone as long as you're not driving.
And
Wait a minute. I have a question.
yeah.
Does the donate button on the app go to that URL?
On
Does
which
it-
app are we talking
On,
about now?
on our app, on the Catholic Answers Live app.
That's a question for Chuck. I
I'm
don't know.
going to dig that up as
Yeah.
soon as we. Yeah.
Hey, can somebody yell for Chuck? We'll have him. Okay, so
On the Catholic Answers Live app, there's a donate button.
yeah, right. But I don't know if it gets.
So if you're watching now,
Yeah.
Well, you can't watch on the app, but there's a donate button on there as well. But everyone right now who's watching this is connected to a screen somehow.
Yes, that's correct.
Yep.
Right. So you can just do wherever you are. Just go to Catholic Answers Radio.
Just open a new page in your browser.
or something like that.
On the app, the donate button goes straight to the donate page.
Donate for what though? The general donate page or for this drive?
For this drive.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and it tells you all the different items you'll get for how much you
I like how
donate.
Nick thought of just take his phone out and
Yeah, and I
try
started
it.
using it.
Nice,
Oh,
nice job,
yeah.
Nick.
It worked.
Good
That's why
thinking
Nick's
there.
like an engineer.
You
have
know
to-
why Jimmy says that the number can be said slowly, and I don't want anybody
Because
to
I
think-
said it too fast?
No, I say it too fast all the time. So we kind of have an agreement, Jimmy and I, that he will slow me down. And so one of the ways he'll do that visually is he'll go like this, and I will calm down. Or
That's sort of
sometimes
like,
he just
that's like Eastern mysticism.
sometimes he just reminds. No, that means
we're gonna
stretch.
get
Stretch
a
it out.
caller who's gonna say Jimmy's doing Eastern mysticism.
That is radio language for stretch it out. Actually, when
It's
you're
not Tai Chi.
usually when the
No,
if,
but this is the Batusi.
yeah. And
Oh,
this
that's a
is-
dance.
This is
Yeah.
Birdman. This is up in the air.
Yeah,
Junior
that's
Birdman.
John Travolta in that Quentin
Everything gets
Tarantino
better when you're around.
film,
Chris.
right? The Quentin-
Conversation love.
Pulp Fiction.
I think so. Right, he does that dance sequence
Yeah.
with.
Uma Thurman.
Yep, and yeah.
Yeah.
And then what do I do when
John
you need to go on
Travolta's
a
a
break
tremendous
right
dancer.
away?
Huh?
What do I do when you need to go on a break and you passed it?
Okay, this is the symbol for break.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
but
get that. I think I've used that.
and people probably see me do this, but I only use one hand, usually because I'm doing something else or it's just inconvenient to do this. So if I see Nick is nervous, I will give him the one hand sign so he knows I didn't forget. We're going
Okay,
to the
what's
break.
false start?
false start? Like when the gun goes off early. What's
Like
the signal? For false start?
the hand sign for false start, or holding.
Oh, I see.
I don't know this one.
Oh, he's talking about football. Okay, well, holding.
That's why
is
I don't
this,
know it.
This
and
is
then-
holding.
right? What's this, Chris?
Safety.
Nice, very good. Yeah. I don't know where I was going. Okay,
Here's
this
where
is-
we're going, folks. Catholic Answers Live depends on your support. We don't have, we have a little bit of underwriting. I was gonna say we don't have paid commercials. We have a little bit of what we call underwriting, but that's a small amount towards the income to run this show.
Yeah.
And it's a considerable thing to run this show. You've got a superb engineer, you've got a superb call screener, you've got Brandon operating these TriCasters. So there's a minimum of. I mentioned Nick.
You're aware that Nick is the engineer. No, you.
No,
you
I
meant
said
Nick.
we have a
Okay.
superb engineer whose name is Nick.
Oh, okay. No, I was just
Friend,
surprised.
friend him on LinkedIn. He's a big LinkedIn fan.
Brandon's superb too.
Brandon is superb. That is true.
And one of the reasons Catholic Answers Live is such a good program is because it's well produced. I mean, there's talent on this side that everyone sees, right?
Yeah.
Jimmy, you,
Others?
Trent, Tim, all are
Carlo.
yeah, and then that giant Rolodex of regulars that Darren Delosier has put together. So we have a magnificent stable of talent that you see on this side of the microphone, right in front of the mic or behind the mic or whatever it is. But behind the glass there, right, we have a considerable amount of talent. Oh, Brandon turned the
Camera around.
camera around. Very good.
Oh yeah, so you'll be able to see it on here in a sec.
This is why the show works so well, because we have a talented and professional crew back there.
Yeah, and the thing is, they do all kinds of other stuff too. Like they help us with the morning show, Catholic Answers Today on Radio Maria. We do that.
All the
that streams all the podcasts.
When Trent is
Yeah.
in here recording his podcast and Rochelle is in here recording her podcast, there's Nick at the board doing the engineering. When the audio department at Catholic Answers has to have a new CD,
Yeah.
audio CD,
Right.
all that work gets done here in this studio. In fact, this studio is more busy. People.
Busier, Chris. Come on.
More busier than it's ever been. There's actually a sign-up sheet.
Yeah, right. You have to
Now.
sign up on the door now.
We didn't
right.
we didn't have that like 6 months ago.
No, right, but
And it's likely to get busier.
No, it is.
yeah, it is.
Yep, we've got more plans.
We should call that the Trent Horn Memorial sign-up sheet.
Well, Trent was in the habit of just saying, "Hey, Nick, can we lay down some sweet tracks?"
Yeah, just sit down in front of a microphone, and then so now you have to schedule your time in here.
Yeah.
and it took a little while for people to get used to it, but even the video department does it now. They'll schedule the time before.
So this studio gets a great deal of use, and
does.
the people who operate it are busy people,
Right,
and they're very
right.
talented, and that's why the show works as well as it does.
Right. Like just before this show, I came in and Nick and I sat here together. He tries to make me lose my train of thought or mess me up while I do the EWTN reads. And I had to do them for 2 weeks because we're going to be gone for a week. So
He delayed you, made you lose your train of thought that much? You had to do it for
no,
2 weeks?
I didn't actually record for 2 weeks, but we had to record 2 weeks worth of these
I see.
EWTN teases. And then he looks at me like after a take, like that's the worst take ever. And I can't tell if he's serious or not. So I don't know if I'm supposed to be.
Oh, no! What
redoing
now?
the
What he
takes.
does to me, because he doesn't. I don't think he would ever say that it was the worst take ever. But he just says, "Would you like to try that again?"
That's good, Nick.
That's
good,
the
Nick.
that's the Nick Chamberlain. Like it'll be a commercial or something, and I say like I'm one take Chris, and I'm doing it in one take,
Yeah.
right? And then he'll do that kind of where he makes that sort of Nick frown, and breathes through his nose. like that.
Yeah.
And then why don't we try that again?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, now we do cold opens for Catholic Answers Focus, which is, just a quick little, this is what the episode is before the episode starts. And I will just ad lib him, and he will openly just laugh at me like, that's not going on there. I'll be like, all right, write something. Give me a script. I'll be back in 20 minutes to do it. But you're a pleasure to work with, Nick.
He is a
I just
pleasure.
wanted to talk about what
All this is
interesting
by
thing
way
you
of saying
Yeah,
that it takes a considerable more than you see just through your screen here
right.
to make this work. 888-291-8000, 888-29, oh, slowly.
Yeah.
888-291-8000 or CatholicAnswersRadio.com. And can we say that the $10,000 challenge for the first hour is already open? We can say that.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
let's
your
say
gift
that.
is going to be matched.
I actually have to look at the amount though, so that I will know where we're starting.
Your gift is going to be matched. And Cy, when I was on the show with you yesterday or the day before, I extended a special invitation that I want to repeat. And that is for monthly pledgers. So,
Yeah.
folks, $10 a month, right? $120 a year, $10 a month, $20 a month will get you the cool presents that we're giving away. One of the reasons that we love monthly pledgers, the principal reason perhaps, is when Phil Lenahan, our CFO, and Imelda, we have a funny story about Imelda.
Can we tell that?
We're going to tell that on the air.
We're going to tell it on the
Yes,
air.
that
Do you know what happened?
I
on the
don't.
that is a funny story.
I just
I'm
saw
going to run it
Imelda
by
in the
Jimmy
hallway,
to get
but-
his approval.
No, just tell it.
You
It's,
feel like it's all right?
it's funny.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
We'll tell it on the air then.
So,
Should I wait for you to come in and we'll tell the story?
well, I don't know. We'll see.
yeah.
Or go ahead. Anyway, monthly pledgers, my friends, make budgeting at Catholic Answers much easier, right? Because we have high times, right? Starting around October all the way through the end of January. That's a period of big high income for us. And then it starts to taper off. And then throughout the summer, we know it hits a low period around August, thereabouts. And then it starts to pick up again in October. And we budget for this. Phil's built a model for it, and it sustains the operation. But if we know that those monthly pledges are coming in every month, that really makes the budgeting process easier. And then when we get other gifts, then we can devote them to the new and large projects,
Of which we have a number coming out.
like our School of Apologetics
Yeah.
that's growing. We just got a very generous gift for that. We'll be building a set. And the whole new redesign of Catholic.com,
Yeah.
which is
Which
going to
is a
launch here
lot.
very soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's the site's going to be more friendly. The user
Better search engine.
the user
Way better. Yeah.
But most of the work that's been done is the sort of the back end or the behind the scenes work.
Yeah, that's always the hard part.
The search engine optimization. I've learned so much about media.
to help people find the site, so
That's
it can
right.
be more benefit to people.
Exactly. Catholic.com is going to be the place. It actually already is, but it's just going to be easier to use.
Yeah.
The place where anyone who wants a question answered in an orthodox and clear way, in a reliable way about the Catholic faith,
Can go.
that's where they're going to come.
888-291-8000 is the number. If you are in a position to support Catholic Answers right now, you can go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com or dial that number, 888-291-8000. The live show will start in about 43 seconds. Thanks, Chris Jack.
See you
I'm gonna
guys
wait.
later.
Will you come in at the second break
Okay.
today?
I will.
Around the 40 mark, and then we'll...
How about the second hour or first hour?
I want to tell the Imelda story, though.
All right. All right. I'll
first
come in.
hour.
Okay.
First hour.
All right. Ciao.
Hello and welcome to Catholic Answers Live. I am Cy Kellett, your host. In studio today, both hours, Jimmy Akin. Jimmy is senior apologist here at Catholic Answers. And together, Jimmy and I will try to accomplish two tasks.
Two very important ones.
Very important ones. First, we're going to take questions like we do every day.
Yeah.
I will play my part, pushing the buttons. Jimmy will play his part, answering those questions. And that number is 888-318-7884. Open forum today. So any question at all is welcome at 888-318-7884. The other task we will be doing is concluding our quarterly pledge drive here at
Right.
Catholic
So we have
Answers.
only 2 hours left to talk about this.
Yep.
And we have in this hour a $10,000 matching challenge. So every dollar you donate up to $10,000 will be matched by a very generous donor. Just an overall drive update. So we're now 2/3 of the way through our drive,
Yep.
which means ideally we would be at 67% of our goal. We are not. We are at 49% of our goal. So we made some improvement over yesterday. Yesterday we were even further behind. We've made up some of that, but we're still not where we need to be. So we do need to hear from you. The number to call is 888-291-8000. Once again, it's 888-291-8000. You can also go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. You can go on your phone. You can even just hit the donate button in the Catholic Answers Live app on your phone. It'll take you right there. You can go to that website, CatholicAnswersRadio.com, and make your donation no matter where you are in the world. Also, you can do it even if you're listening after we're off the air. If you're listening via podcast or watching the recording on YouTube or however you may be listening to us, you can still go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com and make your donation. And it's important that you do that because without your generosity, the show doesn't exist. We wouldn't be able to do it without the support of people like you. I know a lot of you have been thinking about making a donation. Maybe you've donated in the past, but not recently. Maybe you've never donated. This is the time we need you to do that because we're only going to be able to talk about this for the next 2 hours. So let's see if we can get people on the phone lines. I see we have almost all of the lines are open right now, so we have people here at Catholic Answers who've put aside their other work duties so they can wait. They're sitting at their desks waiting for your call so that they can make sure you are able to make your donation in a quick and easy manner without having to wait on hold and things like that. The number to call, again, is 888-291-8000. Once again, it's 888-291-8000.
Earlier in the week, we said if there were any people who could maybe help us with some matching money for Thursday, we would appreciate it. We didn't feel that we were where we wanted to be on the match for Thursday, and folks have come through for us, and we have a $10,000 match this hour, a $10,000 match. We're very grateful for the donor who says, hey, if you can go out and raise $10,000 this hour, I'll match it with $10,000 more. That's a very positive thing, and we're really grateful for that. The number, again, 888-291-8000. If you are able to make a $5 donation, that will be doubled to 10. If you can make it a $5 per month pledge, then that's $60 for the year, and it'll be matched in the amount of $60, and so it's $120 to us. Maybe you can make a $100 a month pledge. That's it's very generous, and I know there are some folks who can indeed do that. If you can do that, that's going to be matched as well, $200 a month for us for the year, for a total of $2,400. So you take advantage of that matching money while it's there, and please help us use it all up. 888-291-8000.
And it's important to remember the spiritual dimension of giving, because this isn't just donating to an ordinary charity. Even that's good and has a spiritual dimension. But this is a program that is based on preaching God's Word, on teaching people about God and helping them draw closer to Him. And that means it has an extra spiritual dimension. One of the things that the New Testament reveals is that God very much values it when people are generous. 2 Corinthians, in 2 Corinthians, St. Paul says God loves a cheerful giver. And he shows that love by rewarding people for what they've done. One of the things that St. Paul talks about in Galatians, if you look in Galatians chapter 6, in a context of giving, he talks about how if we sow to our flesh, meaning spending all our money on ourselves, then from the flesh we're going to reap corruption. But if we sow to the Spirit, meaning spending our money on spiritual pursuits, we will from the Spirit reap eternal life. And so there are rewards in eternity that God offers people for their generosity in supporting the proclamation of His Word. And so by supporting the show and helping it do more apostolic good for others, as well as all the work of Catholic Answers, you will be obtaining an extra reward, an extra jewel for your crown in heaven that you'll be able to enjoy for all eternity.
888-291-8000 is that number. We're about ready to go to phones and answer some questions, but we hope please keep these phones ringing. 888-291-8000. Let's use up all of this match. Let's get over the halfway mark here in the next few minutes and see if we can head on towards 100% funded by the end of the 2 hours today. What I wanted to share with you, Jimmy, was this note from Francis, who just gave a very generous donation. Said, thank you to everyone at Catholic Answers. I'm a regular listener in Melbourne, Australia.
Oh, awesome.
As your wonderful work brought me back to the beautiful Catholic faith. Thank you and God bless, from Francis. So it's all over the world, folks. And we, on any given day, we will hear from folks while we're doing the show, in the course of the show, from there's one guy that logs in every now and then from Micronesia. People from Arabia, whether it's Saudi Arabia or other parts of the Arab world, from Europe, from all over. As a matter of fact, just got a very critical letter from a lady in Sweden just the other day. So,
and by the way, notice that Francis donated from Australia. So that's an illustration of what we were talking about. No matter where you are in the world, and we know we have listeners all over the world, no matter where you are, you can help support Catholic Answers by going to CatholicAnswersRadio.com.
All right, time to answer some questions. Let's go to Craig in Rancho Santa Margarita, California, listening on the EWTN app. Craig, your question for Jimmy Akin.
Hey, Jimmy, how you doing?
Doing okay.
Anyway, my question is, I have a friend of mine that's attending a function at our church. She's not Catholic. She told me last night that she used to be a Seventh-day Adventist and asked me a question about why the Catholic Church changed the day of the Sabbath and also why we adore the Pope so much. And I was hoping you could help me out. And then secondly, I'm a retired firefighter, and I challenge every firefighter, police officer, and public safety to call in and donate. You guys have a great thing going, and I've learned so much from you guys over the years.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Craig. In terms of your friend's questions, the first about the Sabbath, the Catholic Church did not change the day of the Sabbath. The Sabbath is the day it's always been, which is Saturday. And the Sabbath was given to the Jewish people as part of the law of Israel that was given through Moses, and consequently it wasn't binding on other people. It was only binding on Israel. And even that ceased to be binding when Christ fulfilled the law and thus brought it to its end. St. Paul says that he took the law and nailed it to its cross with all of its legal requirements and so forth. And so consequently, in Colossians, he says, don't let anyone judge you in regard to a festival or a new moon or a Sabbath day. And those were the three kinds of days on the Jewish liturgical calendar. You had the yearly feasts like Yom Kippur or Passover. You had the monthly new moons that began every month, and then you had the weekly Sabbaths. And Paul says, don't let anybody judge you in regard to whether you keep them or not, because Christ has fulfilled all of those things. They were a shadow that was cast by Christ before the time of Christ, but now that the substance of Christ has come, the shadow is no longer present. And so we're no longer obliged to keep the Sabbath. What we are required to do is devote adequate time to rest and worship. Those are the moral principles that underlie the specific command to do it on this day. So we're not obliged, number one, because most of us are not Jews, and number two, because all of us are living after the time of Christ. We're not obliged to fulfill that command on Saturday, but the Church, since apostolic times, has commemorated the resurrection of Jesus by doing those things on the first day of the week. And so consequently, from the first century onward, it's been the custom of Christians to gather together for worship on the first day of the week. That's why in his Corinthian letters, when he's actually talking about donations, St. Paul says that people are to lay aside in church a certain amount of money on the first day of the week when they're gathering, so that when he arrives, they'll be able to make a sizable donation to the poor in Jerusalem, and he won't have to beat the bushes, so to speak, when he gets there. Also, because the first day of the week was the day our Lord was resurrected, it quickly became known as the Lord's Day. And St. John in Revelation says that he saw the vision of Revelation on the Lord's Day. It was on a Sunday, the day of Christian worship. And so this is something that has been with the church ever since the first century. The Catholic Church didn't change the Sabbath, but the apostles instituted Sunday as the specific day of Christian worship. In terms of the Pope, well, Catholics don't adore the Pope. Adoration is something that's reserved only for God. But we do respect the Pope, and the reason is that he's the successor of St. Peter. Now, one of the things that Jesus talks about is, and this is in Matthew 25, he talks about how kindnesses and respect that we show for anybody is ultimately kindness and respect that's shown to him. This is in the parable of the sheep and the goats. The thing that distinguishes the sheep from the goats is the fact that they showed kindness towards others, particularly needy people, but the principle applies in general. Any kindness you show to others is ultimately a kindness shown towards Christ, and he will reward you for that. We're also even told specific people that we need to respect. We're told that we need to respect our parents. That's in the Ten Commandments, honor thy father and mother. We're told that we need to respect the ruling authorities. Christians in the first century were even told to pray for the emperor. St. Peter says that. And St. Paul says in his Thessalonian letters to respect those who are our leaders. The author of Hebrews talks about respecting those who are over us in the Lord. And that indicates that there's a hierarchy in Christ's church and that we need to show, out of respect for Christ, respect for the leaders of his church. Well, the Pope is, as the successor of Peter, the highest leader in Christ's earthly church, and so he deserves a special form of respect, and that's why.
Thank you so very, very much for that call, and thank you for those encouraging words. And I guess I can also thank you for all that you do as a firefighter here in California. We certainly have no shortage of fires for you. The number 888-291-8000 is the number to call and pledge your support for Catholic Answers Live. We come to you only 4 times a year, only 3 days we're able to do that. And ask you to provide us with the funding that will keep us on the air for the next 3 months. We have a $10,000 dollar-for-dollar match right now. If you give $1, it's $2. If you give 10, it's 20. If you give 100, it's 200. If you give, let's go crazy. If you give 5,000, it's 10,000. 888-291-8000 is that number. You can also go safe and secure online to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. I have not mentioned yet the gifts that our producer Darren arranged, and these. Because it's very, very valuable to us to have monthly donors. It really it helps in all kinds of ways, but most especially we know a certain baseline income that we will have, even in the summer months where things get tough around here.
They get tight.
Yeah, they get tight. So in order to kind of entice you to become a monthly pledger and to say thank you for those who are monthly pledgers, if you can make a pledge of $20, $25, $30, $50, anything $20 or over, we'll send you these 2 books. Bad Shepherds, The Dark Years in Which the Faithful Thrived While the Bishops Did the Devil's Works. It's about bad bishops throughout the history of the church. And then Steve Weidenkopf's really majestic history of the Catholic Church. It's called Timeless, A History of the Catholic Church, a 1-volume history of this church that we love so much. We can send you both of those if you're able to make a monthly pledge of $20 or more. If you are one of those people who can make a $1,000 pledge, a one-time $1,000 pledge, a one-time $2,000 pledge, even a one-time $500 pledge, we'll send you both of those books as a thank you. But we also are able to send you the Great Adventure Bible. It's a Catholic Bible that is color-coded and annotated primarily And this little symbol is a compass, because what they're trying to do with the Great Adventure Bible is you open up to any page in the Bible, you're going to know where you are in salvation history. Because the Bible is not organized in chronological order, and it doesn't always give you notes about who these people are and where they are. So this is a Bible for you to have, to read the Bible, but to have guidance and help knowing where you are and what's happening at this point in salvation history. It's so popular, it ran out of its first printing in a couple weeks. They had to do a second printing, a third printing, and we have copies for you. If you're one of those people who is especially blessed and can make a one-time donation of $500, maybe $1,000, maybe $2,000, we would love to send you both of the books and the Bible. 888-291-8000 is the number to call. 888-291-8000.
And if you do get the premiums that we're offering for this drive, they're really going to be fascinating because,
you're gonna love
as
them.
we talked about them, the two books and even the Bible, it's stories. And stories are something that we're wired for. Stories are something that our brains respond to instinctively. We want to find out what happened next. And so anytime you have an institution with a history as dramatic as the Catholic Church, whether that is involved with bad bishops or external conflicts or heresies, it just makes it fascinating to read. So those will be things you'll find especially interesting. And the Great Adventure Study Bible is also something that you'll find really interesting, because one of the reasons that people find the Bible intimidating at times is because if you don't see how the picture fits together in terms of history, which again is stories,
Yes.
then it's kind of like coming into a movie in the middle and you're kind of lost.
Right.
And by making it easier for people to know where they are in salvation history and to see the overall shape of God's plan of the ages, it becomes all the more enriching. And so by all means, call 888-291-8000. Once again, that number is 888-291-8000. You can also go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com and make your donation safely and securely online. And Cy, I'm pleased to be able to announce that we've made a little progress so far this hour, and we started the hour at 49% of our goal for the drive. Now we're at 51% of the goal.
Hey.
So that's progress.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
But you know what that means is we still have
49 to go.
another 49% to go. And I can see we've got a bunch of lines open. So please give us a call. People are at their desks just waiting for your call. The number is 888-291-8000. You know you've been thinking about it for a while, whether it's been a while since you've donated or whether you've never donated, or maybe you've been thinking about increasing your donation. Now is the time to do that. And the number to call is 888-291-8000. And want to, by the way, thank Bill, who just donated $1,037.50. Also want to thank Edward, who donated $1,000. Those gentlemen will now be enrolled in the Catholic Answers President's Club. And that, among other things, will entitle them not just to the premiums that we have associated with this drive, but to everything they'll have available to them free, everything that Catholic Answers publishes in the next year. So thank you so much, Bill and Edward, and we'll be getting you more information about the Catholic Answers President's Club. We also have a higher level giving society known as the Founders Circle, which people join when they make a donation of $5,000, and it doesn't have to be all at once. Both the Founders Circle level and the President's Club level are as long as you donate that amount in the course of a year.
Yep.
So if you can donate $1,000 spread out over the course of a year to make it easy, then you become part of the President's Club. If you donate $5,000 spread out over the course of the year, you become a member of the Founders Circle. It has additional benefits, and one of those is we invite you to our annual Founders Circle retreat, because we have an annual planning retreat with members of the Founders Circle. We want to make sure that our special donors are involved in the planning that of the future of the apostolate, and we make special presentations to them to show them what we're working on, and we get input from them. So we really value the input of our Founders Circle members, and you can become one just by giving a call to 888-291-8000. Once again, it's 888-291-8000.
I want to go back to the phones now, but I have to tell you, I was giving the different premiums, Jimmy, at the different levels, and Valerie Staples, who's married to, as you may know, Tim Staples.
I was going to.
She added another level while I was talking.
Going to guess someone else.
She writes on Facebook, if you can donate $20,000, Cy will come over to your house and cook you and your family dinner, which actually, Valerie, that's true. I will come over to your house and cook you dinner, but I'm going to need Valerie Staples to teach me how to cook before I go. So you have to include that in the promise as well, Valerie. Again, the number 888-291-8000. You will be talking to a Catholic Answers staffer when you get through on that line. 888-291-8000. Let's go to Ian in San Antonio, Texas. You are up next, Ian. Your question for Jimmy Akin.
Yes, sir. How are y'all doing today?
Very
Doing
well,
okay.
thank you.
Yes, sir. So this is the first time I'm ever calling into your show, and first time I'm hearing it, really.
Awesome.
I was kind of I was raised Catholic, going to Mass every Sunday and stuff, but after my great-grandmother died, who is the reason I went to Mass all the time, I wouldn't say I left the church because I always believed in stuff, but I just kind of quit going until this past summer. So, I've kind of had a lot of questions and stuff, and I'm going through RCA right now to make my first communion and stuff. But
Awesome.
So a question I have is regarding weddings and stuff. I know the Catholics are not permitted to go to weddings like a homosexual wedding. I know we're not permitted to do that. But my assumption is, we are allowed to attend Protestant weddings, I think, correct? And also, if it's what if it's a non-Christian religion wedding? Because I have a friend who's she told me she's getting really serious with a guy she's dating. She's they want to do a Viking-style wedding.
Oh, okay. Well, let's let Jimmy.
So
a Protestant wedding or a non-Christian wedding, a Catholic.
As long as the church doesn't have a specific canon in the Code of Canon Law that says you can go to this kind of wedding but not this other. What it does have is a canon that says that we need to act in accord with Catholic principles. And so it's a Catholic principle that you don't have to be a Catholic in order to have a valid wedding. So unless there's something about a particular wedding that would make it invalid, like it being between two people of the same sex or something like that. As long as there's nothing about a particular wedding that would cause it to be invalid, it's going to be valid in the eyes of God, even if they're associating it with other religions. It's still going to be valid because God himself instituted matrimony. And so people of any religion or no religion are capable of becoming married. And if it's going to be a valid wedding, then you can in principle go to it as long as you're not yourself doing something that violates Christian principles. So you could go to a Hindu wedding, for example. It's going to be valid in God's eyes as long as you're not yourself praying to a Hindu god or something like that. So in principle, those things are possibilities.
Ian, thank you very, very much for that question. Again, the donor line, 888-291-8000. I can see some lines open, so go ahead and dial now, 888-291-8000. Stephen in San Diego is next, listening on the Catholic Answers app. Stephen, thanks for downloading the app onto your phone. Your question for Jimmy.
Hi, Jimmy. How you doing?
Doing okay.
Very good. Just had a question for you, and I know you've answered it before. I think I saw once something about going to missing Mass if you're on a camping trip. This past weekend, I went to kind of like a hotel and resort with family, and it was at the end of Saturday and all of Sunday. And my question is, was I supposed to not go on this trip, knowing that I would miss Mass if I did go, or was it okay for me to go on this trip with them because it was going to be all of Saturday and all of Sunday, and I knew that I would miss Mass if I went with them?
One of the, as with the previous discussion we had, the church doesn't have a specific canon covering situations like can you go on a trip or not. But it does have a canon saying you need to act in accord with Catholic principles. And the way that gets applied by moral theologians is if you're in an area where you reasonably can get to Mass, well, then you need to go to Mass. But it doesn't get applied in a way that you need to tether yourself to places where there are Masses.
Okay.
There can be reasons that you would need to go elsewhere. I mean, economics is one of them. You may need to feed your family. You may need to go to a place where there aren't any churches.
Yeah. Right.
That's something that people have had in the past to confront. During ages of expansion and so forth. So under ordinary circumstances, you don't want to do those things unless you have to, like permanently be out of an area where you could get to Mass. But it is recognized that for legitimate reasons, like needing to go to a business conference or needing to take a vacation or something like that, you could go to an area where you're not going to be able to reasonably get to Mass. And in those circumstances, your Sunday obligation doesn't apply, though it's recommended that you devote some time to prayer, for example, as a way of keeping the day in spirit, even if you're not able to get to Mass.
Stephen, I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for that call. Lots of folks on the line because it's open forum today, and don't go anywhere if you're on the line. We are going to get to your questions. I want to remind you, we have a $10,000 dollar-for-dollar match this hour. Go ahead and call 888-291-8000. Make your donation, make your pledge, and every dollar of it is matched up to $10,000.
Catholic Answers Live would like to take this opportunity to thank our partners in airing our daily program. Please support the stations and networks that carry us each day, ensuring that we have a platform for broadcasting the show. And please bear in mind that while we do not have to pay for airtime on our affiliate stations, neither do they contribute to the operating costs we incur. It's a great relationship, but it requires that we turn to you, our devoted listeners, for your prayers and financial support to cover our ever-growing expenses. Please call 888-291-8000 right now and help to keep Catholic Answers Live strong. That's 888-291-8000. Or you can donate securely online at CatholicAnswersRadio.com. What began as a humble one-hour daily show that was carried by 4 radio stations has, with the generosity of many fantastic people like you, blossomed into a 2-hour broadcast heard on hundreds of AM and FM stations, the internet, Sirius XM radio, Facebook, YouTube, and via podcast. We don't make that possible. You do. We simply cannot continue this media mission without your most generous gift today. Call 888-291-8000 or log on to CatholicAnswersRadio.com and donate now. People tell us all the time how much they depend on Catholic Answers Live to help them better learn, live, and share their faith. What they're really saying is they depend on you for that. Will you come through for them right now? It only takes a couple of minutes to make a huge difference at 888-291-8000 or CatholicAnswersRadio.com. Again, 888-291-8000 or CatholicAnswersRadio.com. No matter how much you give, be assured of our gratitude and know that God will richly bless you. Phone 888-291-8000 or go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. It's important that you take this important step right now, today, to make sure that Catholic Answers Live is here tomorrow and for years to come. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Hi, this is Dr. David Anders. If you just don't understand something about the Catholic faith, Call to Communion is the show for you. Join us Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio. Now, back to Catholic Answers Live.
Welcome back to Catholic Answers Live Open Forum. I am Cy Kellett, your host, and our guest this hour is Catholic Answers senior apologist, Jimmy Akin. Jimmy, the author of many things, including the brand new Teaching with Authority and the much acclaimed Daily Defense, 365 Days Plus One to Becoming a Better Apologist, and a book that has not received any acclaim yet, the new 20 Hours New Testament.
20 hours?
20 hours. 20
oh, boy,
answers.
I'm looking forward to that. Read the New Testament in 20 hours? That would be
Just
great.
put it on 250 times speed.
Yeah. Wouldn't require that much.
20
Answers New Testament.
New Testament.
Yeah, just turned in the manuscript yesterday.
Turn it in. So if you got a question for Jimmy, 888-31-TRUTH is the question line.
Especially questions about the Bible, Scripture, things like that, all kinds of interesting stuff there. In fact, we have the Bible, a special version of it, as one of our premiums for this drive, don't we, Cy?
We do. We're in the midst of our actually, we're in the last 90 minutes now of our quarterly pledge drive. We have. Well, let me just discuss the premiums then. If you are someone who can make a $20 a month pledge, We're extremely grateful for that, and it's very, very helpful to us. And we are able at that level to give you these two books, Bad Shepherds, The Dark Years in Which the Faithful Thrived While the Bishops Did the Devil's Work, a fascinating collection of stories about bishops who didn't do their job. And then we're also able to give you Timeless, A History of the Catholic Church, Steve Weidenkopf's very fine 1-volume history of the Catholic Church. That's for a monthly pledge of $20 or more.
By the way, that Timeless carries an endorsement by Chris Check, our president, and he is a real history buff. So
Yes.
if he's endorsing it, that means something.
Yeah, and it was a really good endorsement. He really liked it.
And it's not even published by us, so, you know.
I know. Well, someone should talk to him about endorsing our Sunday Visitor books. Come on. What? I don't know. I know we like our Sunday Visitor. But what Jimmy mentioned about the Bible, let me just reiterate. We can give you both of those books. And we'd like to send you the Great Adventure Bible if you can make a $500 pledge or more. If you a 500, what 1,000, if you know, maybe you're one of those people. There are people have done it this pledge drive. $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 pledges.
That's right.
We're very grateful for those. I'll let Jimmy tell you about the giving societies that you'll join. But if $500 or more, we're going to send you this Great Adventure Bible. It's a wonderful book. It's been through 3, maybe 4 printings that sold out. We have copies of it from Ascension Press. Essentially, the way this works is it's a color-coded Bible inside with all kinds of notes, maps, charts, so that say you open up to a book of the Bible, let's say it's 1 Kings, and you don't know the Jewish kings, you don't know the history of the kingdom. This has all the notes, the maps, the charts to tell you here's where you are in salvation history. Here's what's going on at this time in the world. Here's how the Hebrew people fit into that at that time. Now you are prepared to open up Kings.
You'll know where you are in the story.
Yeah, you'll know where you are in the story, and it's very helpful also because as any of you who have attempted to read the Bible know, it doesn't come in chronological order. It's not like chapter 1 up to chapter. I don't even know how many chapters there are in the Bible. Do you?
Not off the top of my head. The number
Somebody must have counted.
it has been counted. I've seen the number.
Yeah.
But I don't want to commit myself without refreshing my memory. However, you know, the Bible couldn't be in chronological order because parts of it are like the Psalms. It's a collection of hymns.
That's a very good point.
So
right.
you can't locate those, and they don't tell stories in the same way the historical books do.
Right.
But it's a fascinating read. It's always better to learn more about the Bible. The way to make a donation to get that or the other premiums is to call 888-291-8000. Once again, it's 888-291-8000. I can see we have a lot of lines open. People are at their desks right now just waiting to take your call. Also, you can go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com, even if you're in another country. We've had people donating from other countries. Please be generous. We are not state-supported. We are not church-supported. We really do rely on your generosity. And we have some folks who've been donating in amounts that they can get the get the Great Adventure Bible. One of them is Paula, who's donated $500. Another is Anna, who's donated $521. Santiago has donated $500. Carol has donated $1,037.50. Which means she, along with Maria, who's donated $1,000, will both be enrolled in the Catholic Answers President's Club, which will entitle them to everything that Catholic Answers publishes over the next year. Cheryl has donated $500. Felisa has donated $518.75. Geralv has donated $500. Want to thank those people and everyone who's been donating regardless of the amount. We do need your help. We are making progress toward our goal, but we still have a long way to go, and we have less than 90 minutes to talk about it now. So thank you very much for your support. And please, let's keep the phone lines and the website busy.
We're 56% of the way to our goal now, and we're the thing about that is, okay, so that means 44% still to go to reach our goal, and we're almost done with the pledge drive here, but all kinds of miraculous things happen on day 3 of the pledge drive. People come through for us. Maybe you are one of those people who can make that $5,000 pledge, that $5,000 gift.
Yeah.
You're immediately enrolled.
Had a few days to think about it now.
Yep.
So
and
now's the time to act.
And you become a member of the Founders Circle, and we'd love to see you at the Founders Retreat each year. maybe you're one of those people who can even do a $10,000 or $20,000 gift.
That would be awesome.
Those pretty much knock us off our chair when they come in, but they have come in the past. So I'll share the facts with you. We're almost done with our pledge drive now, and we are 56% of the way to our goal. We're not having any anxiety about it. It's going to be fine. People come through for us all the time. But if you were thinking, is it time to come through? Well, yes, indeed. Now is the time to come through. You can call 888-291-8000 or go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com right now, 888-291-8000. Let's go to Jordan in Detroit. We didn't do Jordan yet?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just got a little confused there. Jordan in Detroit, Michigan, listening on Ave Maria Radio. You are up next. Your question for Jimmy Akin.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call again. Quick question regarding the Eucharist. So I've heard it before that someone said before that Jesus separated his body from his blood, indicating death, and then in the Eucharist, when we receive the body and blood, we're receiving his life into us when they come back together. But I'm just trying to reconcile that when we believe that body, blood, soul, and divinity are present under each species, but then Jesus at the Last Supper said, "This is my body," when he had the bread, and "This is my blood" underneath the wine. So just trying to reconcile all of that.
So when Jesus says, "This is my body," with respect to the host, his blood is also present by what's sometimes called concomitance, when two things go together. So even though he depicts the body and blood in a state of separation by consecrating the two different elements, that's operating on the mystical level. In reality, he's alive, and so his blood is in his body, just like Cy Kellett's blood is in his body right now. And so is Cy Kellett's soul. Now, Cy Kellett does not have divinity, but if he did, it would also be united with his body, blood, and soul. And since Jesus does have divinity, you have all four of the elements, body, blood, soul, and divinity, present together, even if in the Eucharist, one of those elements is sort of turned toward us in a particular consecrated element. So in the host, Christ's body is turned toward us, if you want to put it like that, but his blood, soul, and divinity are also present. Whereas in the chalice, his blood is turned toward us, so to speak, even though his body, soul, and divinity are also present. If it helps you to think of it this way, you could think of his body and blood as if they're like two sides of a coin or two sides of a die, like a six-sided die, a cube.
Yeah.
And one of those faces is turned toward us in a particular element, but it doesn't mean that the other facets aren't also present.
Thank you very, very much for that question. We appreciate that, Jordan. Lots of calls to get to, and we're going to keep doing our regular job of addressing those calls. 888-291-8000 is the number you can call to help us to reach our goal, which we are making progress towards, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yes.
888-291-8000 is that number. We do have to do a quick break. We'll be right back to answer more calls and your questions right after this.
Stay with us for more Catholic Answers Live.
A lot of people think that street evangelization involves yelling out of a bullhorn telling people that they're going to hell. Not so with St. Paul's Street Evangelization. Our methods are non-confrontational and effective. We simply offer information on the Catholic faith along with rosaries, miraculous medals, and prayer. Pope Francis wrote about how beautiful it is to see street preachers joyfully bringing Jesus to every corner of the earth. Street evangelization is fun and fruitful. Join us today at streetevangelization.com.
Welcome back to Catholic Answers Live. I am Cy Kellett, your host, and in studio, Jimmy Akin right next to me here, and we're ready to take your calls. If you have questions about the Catholic faith, any aspect of the Catholic faith, you are welcome to call on these open forum days. Before I head back to the phones, I will just make one brief reminder. We are in the midst, we are in now the last, 80 minutes of our quarterly pledge drive. We're a good ways from reaching our goal, but we're very confident we can do it with your help, and we have never yet been wrong when we depended on your generosity The number to
By
call.
which you mean we've never yet gone out of business.
That is right. We have.
Yeah. Doesn't mean we've always made our goals.
That's a good point, Jimmy. All right. Maybe I was being a little flowery there. 888-291-8000 is the number. 888-291-8000. Help us to get to 100% by the end of this day, and we're very, very grateful, and we're fully funded for the next 3 months.
And we've got a bunch of lines open right now. I can see it on the monitor board, so there are people at their desks who are just waiting to take your call to make the donation process easy and quick for you.
888-291-8000. 8,000, the number. The president's here. Hi, Chris Jack.
888-291-8000. I'm saying it slowly.
Yes, you're doing a fine job.
888-291-8000. I just took a $1,000 gift from a retired fireman in Cincinnati, Ohio, who was so inspired by the testimony of that other fireman.
Oh, that was Jason from here in California.
Right.
Who got on the, yeah.
Right.
Well,
So
thank you,
whether you're a fireman or not.
Right.
Yes, or any kind of first responder. Or
Yeah.
however it is.
Yes.
Or have been helped by one.
If you've ever been helped by a fireman, call in and make your pledge now. 888-291-8000. And people we're having. It feels like a really good day in here. How's it feeling on the phones out there?
I love talking to people, and of course the whole building is engaged right now. So
Yeah.
all the Catholic Answer staff, you don't know who you're going to get. You're going to get to talk to somebody on the Catholic Answer staff, which reminds me of a funny story, Si.
I know this story, and I have to say, we talked about Imelda yesterday. Tim and I did for a minute about something about how loud Imelda is.
So we should explain who Imelda is for the benefit of the audience.
Imelda is our accountant.
Yes, and
she works for Phil Lenahan, who is our chief financial officer.
And met one of the single most delightful people you will
Imelda
ever meet.
is absolutely delightful, and she is.
And she has an interesting idiolect too, because she always appends my name when she sees me in the hallway. Hi, Jimmy. How are you, Jimmy?
Oh,
And
yeah.
so I respond back. Hi, I'm great, Imelda. How are you, Imelda?
Well, Imelda is from Goa.
In India.
Goa?
Yes.
That's the big resort town in India.
Well, actually, the beaches are beautiful there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. My son has been there.
The British go over there for vacations.
They
to
do.
Goa.
My son, when he was volunteering with the MCs, he was there. But anyway, she's from Goa, and also St. Thomas's relics.
Are
I
they
think.
Goa? I don't
Isn't
know.
that the tradition?
Well, I don't know if they're specifically thought to be in Goa, but obviously there is a very early tradition that St. Thomas evangelized India.
Right.
So we asked people to call, make your pledge. The staff will take your calls, and Imelda picked up the line yesterday.
And someone said to her, "Where?" Because she has an Indian accent.
A quite pronounced Indian
And
accent.
someone said, "Where are you?" they
And
thought-
Imelda said,
she said, "I'm in East County, San Diego."
but they assumed that they had gotten through to a call center in
Mumbai
India.
or something
Right.
like that, and then they hung up on poor Imelda.
Yeah.
So, my friends, call 888-291-8000, and if you get Imelda, my goodness, you are talking to the real live accountant of Catholic Answers from Goa, but living here in East County, San Diego.
There's an international flavor
As
here.
an accountant of all the people here, she's especially to be trusted with money.
That's right. So 888-291-8000, CatholicAnswersRadio.com. Have we met our goal for this first?
No, we are. We've been saying, and we've been letting
We have
people
been
know
working towards our overall drive goal.
Yeah, the overall-
we're not yet there. We are 57% of the way towards our overall.
It sounds
drive
worse
goal.
than it is. We're going to get there, Chris. Don't worry.
Well, then I'm going to get out of your folks' way.
We're 58% now.
Oh, there we go. Thanks for coming
Just
in, Chris. You got us to 58%. 888-291-8000 is that number. And if you get Imelda, just say hi, Imelda.
Yeah.
888-291-8000. My friends, so many people that you will meet on the other side of the veil have been helped by this radio show. You're not going to be Cy Kellett. You're not going to be Jimmy Aiken, right? But you are going to be the person who makes this show possible so that we can evangelize, so that we can spread the gospel all over the world. This show literally is heard all over the world.
And we want to thank everybody who's been donating by calling 888-291-8000. Crystal has donated $1,000. She's now joined the Catholic Answers President's Club. Also, we have people who have been donating $500, like Veronica. And Michael has donated $518.75. Elizabeth has donated $500. Those people will be getting the Great Adventure Study Bible, which will help them have a whole new perspective on the Bible and how individual books in it fit into God's place, into God's plan of the ages. And regardless of the amount you're able to donate, we really do appreciate it. You can go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com 24 hours a day. Even if you're in another country or listening after we're off the air, you can still go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. You can even go there on your phone. It's designed to do that. And you can call 888-291-8000. If you're listening right now, we do have some lines open for you.
A special invitation to anyone to please become a monthly pledger. $18 a month, and you get Steve Weidenkopf's excellent new one-volume History of the Catholic Church, timeless. Jimmy, I've probably read a dozen or so one-volume histories of the Catholic Church.
We were just talking earlier that you endorsed
this one.
book.
Is my favorite.
Yeah.
There's no sneering triumphalism. There's no groveling. It's
just
great
the history of the church.
And it's Weidenkopf prose. You know,
Yeah,
he's such
good.
a very fine writer. Yeah.
888-291-8000 is the number. I got to go back to the phones because we're heading up to the top of the hour. Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Chris Check. Marcus in Prescott, Arizona. You are on with Jimmy Akin. Your question, please.
Hey, guys. My question is regarding the Sacrament of Reconciliation. I've heard of very holy priests say if you confess the same mortal sin 3 times, the absolution becomes invalid. And he even mentioned a side story about a priest who absolved a certain man's sin and was sent to hell. Not only was the man sent to hell, but the priest who absolved the sin was sentenced to hell as well.
Is this individual one whose bishop you know who that might be?
No, I don't know. I
Okay.
can't remember the priest.
Any priest who's saying stuff like that needs to be, well, confronted personally, but also reported to his bishop, because that is flat out of line with church teaching. Jesus makes it clear in Matthew chapter 18 that a person can be forgiven a sin innumerable times. St. Peter asks him, should I forgive someone up to 7 times? So already we're way more than 3.
Yeah.
And Jesus says, no, 77 times. And that number is just illustrative of any number of times. He doesn't mean on the 78th time you're damned. God is always willing to forgive. And so consequently, any claim that someone won't be forgiven or absolved after a 3rd time is complete nonsense. It is completely counter to the teaching of the Catholic Church. And the Church doesn't teach that any individual goes to hell. It doesn't claim to know who does or doesn't. And consequently, any claims by this individual about a man going to hell and the priest who absolved him going to hell are things that he has no way of knowing and are not to be relied upon as anything more than a fanciful supposition on this guy's part.
Thank you so much for that call and for that question, Marcus. That was I don't usually comment on your comments, but you're quite stern on that.
Well,
that's
firm,
really,
I would say.
Yeah, firm.
And that's what is required in such situations. When you have individuals, whether they're priests or anybody, who are spreading ideas that are going to be destructive of the souls and cause needless anxiety for people, they need to be dealt with in a firm way. And that's one of the things that we're here for at Catholic Answers Live, is to provide that kind of spiritual assistance to people so they don't have needless anxieties and worry about, is the Lord's mercy limited, and things like that.
Yeah, it's amazing how often the true gospel turns out to be a message of liberation and freedom, not one of condemnation. 888-291-8000 is that number. If you could help us this hour, we're coming near the top of the hour. That means we're coming near to the very end of this pledge drive. We are not yet in a position to say this we're going to make it, but I believe we can, and I'm so grateful for your help. Maybe you're one of those folks who can make that $20 a month pledge, and we can send you both Steve Weidenkopf's History of the Catholic Church and Rod Bennett's fascinating book, Bad Shepherds. Maybe you're one of those people who can make a $500 one-time contribution, $500 contribution. We can send you both of those books and send you the Great Adventure Bible, the Bible that tells you where you are in the Bible. Dial 888-291-8000. As Jimmy mentioned, we also have a President's Club and a Founders Circle. Those you can find out on our website, all of the benefits that come with those, and that's at the $1,000 level. And some folks have been making $1,000 contributions to help us get over.
We've had several today.
Yeah, several today.
I don't think we've had a $5,000 today.
No, I have not seen it if we have. But if you can make that $1,000 contribution, or if you can make a $5,000 contribution, you are entered into those giving societies. Again, 888-291-8000 is the number, 888-291-8000. I feel like I've given short shrift to callers a little bit, so I'm going to try to make up for that. Alex, here in California, listening on the Catholic Answers app. Your question kind of quickly for Jimmy Akin, please.
Hi, Jimmy. I just wanted to get your take on the sacred water from Lourdes and how the church and its faithful Catholics can look at the waters from Lourdes.
Well, God uses material instruments to communicate his grace, and sometimes he does so in an overt way that involves performing an outwardly detectable miracle, and on occasions he has used water from Lourdes in the process of doing that. It's similar to things we see at various times in the Bible where he uses either water or something else as an instrument for conveying his grace, even performing something that's outwardly miraculous. And while there's no promise that a miracle will happen in any given case, it is something that is something God does from time to time when people open themselves to him doing the miraculous, whether it's through Lourdes water or from somewhere else, and consequently it's something that a sick person, for example, could receive as an act of faith, not with a promise that a miracle will result, although they have at times, but as an act of prayer and openness to what God would do in one's life.
Thank you very, very much for that call. Thanks for phrasing it so quickly, too, because as you can tell, we got a lot of things to handle this hour, and you helped us do that, Alex. Thanks very much. Listen, if you're on the line, stay on the line. We do have a whole hour more with Jimmy Akin open forum, so if we don't get to you by the top of this hour, hang on. We're going to do our very, very best to get to you next hour, and if you haven't dialed yet to make your pledge of support, I'd ask again that you pick up that phone and dial 888-291-8000 or go safe and secure online to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. And Jimmy likes to talk to people in the future, so I'll try it. If you're listening to this as a podcast, maybe a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, you can always go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com and make your pledge as well. We're always grateful for your support, and we haven't had a day yet where we didn't need it. 888-291-8000 is the number.
You can also go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. If you're listening on the Catholic Answers Live app right now, you can just hit the donate button. It'll take you there automatically. The website is designed to work with your phone, so no matter what kind of device you're listening on, you can support Catholic Answers Live right now. As I mentioned earlier in this hour, St. Paul talks about giving, as does Jesus, and indicates that it's something that bestows eternal rewards on people. God loves a cheerful giver, and as St. Paul says, if we sow to our flesh, meaning if we just spend all our money on ourselves, then we won't receive anything from our flesh except the corruption that flesh naturally produces. But if we sow to the Spirit, meaning using our funds in a spiritual way, then from the Spirit, St. Paul says, this is Galatians 6 if you want to look it up, from the Spirit we'll reap eternal life. And so there are rewards in eternity for the spiritual use of your resources here in this life. I know you've been thinking about it, and this is the time to act, because we don't have a lot of time left to talk to you about this today or in this pledge drive. And in fact, right now is an excellent time to call 888-291-8000. Number one, because you're thinking about it. And as I often say, if I don't do something when I'm thinking about it, it may not get done.
Yeah.
I can let things fall through the cracks just like anybody. And so it's important to do things while you're thinking about it. You're thinking about it right now. And we are going to be going into a hard break, and that means we're going to be off the air for a few minutes. You will not miss anything, so now is an excellent time to call. A third reason now is an excellent time to call, we have a lot of lines open.
888-291-8000 is that number.
That's right. I was just going to say
step
that.
On you, Jimmy. I realized
Stepped
that.
Just on my line there.
I apologize. Hey, I wanted to share some good news with you, Jimmy.
Yeah, what's that?
61%. So we're down into
awesome.
the 30s percent.
39%.
39% to go. It's not perfect. It's not ideal, but it is doable. We're very grateful for all the support you have given us.
And notice, folks, your donations have so inspired Cy. He's now doing math on the air. So now's the time to call 888-291-8000. Paulson and help Cy improve his math skills.
Father would scold me at Father Hugh. He says, that's not math, that's arithmetic. So at least I'm doing arithmetic on the air.
Arithmetic is a math.
888-291-8000 or CatholicAnswersRadio.com.
Your questions, Catholic Answers, live. Will you do us a favor right now? Clear your mind of all other thoughts and reflect for just a moment on how Catholic Answers Live has made a difference in your life. Has our broadcast made your afternoon commute more meaningful? Perhaps you've learned how to explain the faith to family or friends in a more vibrant, convincing way. Something you heard here may have been just the thing you needed to look into joining or returning to the Catholic faith. All of these are serious reasons to be thankful, first and foremost to God, but also to all who have financially made it possible for us to air the show each day. Believe me, our gratitude could not be deeper. And we're coming to you today during our quarterly membership drive, asking you to join the ranks of the great people whose gifts and sacrifices have helped to turn around countless lives over the years, and very possibly helped make an eternal difference for many of them. Think about that for a moment. That's what your prayers and donations to Catholic Answers Live are doing. What a tremendous opportunity is being presented to you right now. Please don't let it pass you by. Call 888-291-8000 or visit CatholicAnswersRadio.com and let one of our fast, friendly customer service team members take your pledge. Large or small, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you call right now. Again, it's 888-291-8000 or CatholicAnswersRadio.com. We're offering some great appreciation gifts that are sure to deepen your faith life even more. But what's best is you'll have the confidence that when you turn your radio on tomorrow, or next week, or 12 days from now, we'll be here, boldly and charitably presenting the truth to a world that's searching for precisely that. Your pledge is vital to keeping Catholic Answers Live on the air. Will you make the call today to 888-291-8000 or donate securely online at CatholicAnswersRadio.com? Thank you so much in advance. God bless you.
Have you subscribed to the Catholic Answers Radio Club newsletter? This is Catholic Answers Live host Cy Kellett, and I want to tell you about our new weekly newsletter full of behind-the-scenes information and facts you need to know about the show. It's easy to sign up. Just visit CatholicAnswersLive.com and look for the newsletter sign-up box on the front of the page. It's a great way to keep up to date with what's happening with the show and see what's coming in the days ahead, delivered weekly into your inbox. Sign up today for the Catholic Answers Radio Club newsletter and see what you've been missing. Go to CatholicAnswersLive.com.
Wouldn't it be great to have a book to give to anyone to explain exactly why Catholics believe what we believe? The good news is that now there is. Why We're Catholic is the groundbreaking new resource by apologist Trent Horn. That one book you can hand to anyone as a starting point for helping them find their way into, or back to, the practice of the Catholic faith. In a series of short, easy-to-read chapters, Trent covers the whole range of common topics, starting with why we believe in anything at all, and answering all the common objections to the Catholic faith, both doctrinal and moral. Don't miss out on the most important, life-changing book to come along in years. Better yet, it's only $3 a copy when you order in bulk. Order your copies of Why We're Catholic today by calling 1-888-291-8000, visiting the shop at Catholic.com, or asking for it at a good Catholic bookstore near you.
With the recent commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the release of Humanae Vitae, there have been fresh attacks on Catholic teaching from outside and, unfortunately, inside the Church. That's why Catholic Answers thought it critical to provide a vigorous affirmation of Paul VI's prophetic wisdom with our newest book, Inseparable: 5 Perspectives on Sex, Life, and Love in Defense of Humanae Vitae. We asked 5 distinguished contributors to reflect on and defend Humanae Vitae from 5 perspectives, each of them compelling, together forming a mosaic of truth. Don't be caught uninformed when the topic of contraception comes up among friends, family, and co-workers. Order your copy of Inseparable today by calling 1-888-291-8000 or visiting the shop at Catholic.com.
Open Forum this hour on Catholic Answers Live. Welcome back. I am Cy Kellett, your host. And Open Forum means Catholics and non-Catholics alike are welcome to call with any question at all about the Catholic faith, about Catholic people, maybe about what Catholics believe about the Bible, maybe what Catholics believe about the sacraments, anything. It's all welcome. And the number to call if you'd like to talk with our guest this hour, Jimmy Akins, senior apologist here at Catholic Answers, is 888-31-TRUTH. That's 888-318-7884. We won't be giving that out very much during the hour because we have another number we have to give out this hour quite a bit, but I will repeat it again. If you'd like to get into the queue to have your question answered, 888-318-7884. And we are in the big hour. We are in the final hour now.
So good news. We made our $10,000 matching challenge for last hour.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Also,
that is good news.
Also, good news, we have a $15,000 matching challenge for this hour. So this is our largest challenge of the drive. It's our last hour. We need to have your support in order to make that $15,000 matching challenge. The number to call is 888-291-8000. Once again, it's 888-291-8000. You can also go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. You can even do that on your phone. It's designed to work with your phone, so it should not be a problem for you. We have a bunch of lines open right now. If you're just joining us, this is the last hour of our pledge drive for a whole 3 months. We only talk about fundraising here on the air for 3 days every 3 months, and only for a couple of hours. So we really need your support when we're able to talk about it. Right now, we're winding down on that time. We have less than an hour to ask for your support, but we really do need it to make sure that Catholic Answers Live and all the work of Catholic Answers keeps going. We have a bunch of Catholic Answers staff members who are sitting at their desks just waiting for your call right now. I can see the lights on our monitor board indicating they're there. They don't have anyone on the phone right now, so they're waiting for your call. If you've been listening to the show the last few days, you've had a chance to think about it, and now is the time to act, because we need to make that $15,000 matching challenge this hour. 888-291-8000. Once again, it's 888-291-8000, or you can go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com.
888-291-8000. Lines starting to fill up for this hour. Thank you so much for helping us meet our match last hour. And I know Chris Check just today was on the phone with someone who either gave gave part of that $15,000 we have for this hour to match. We're very grateful for those donors who do that. What happens is if we can raise the $15,000, we get the $15,000 in addition. That means every dollar that is given is essentially doubled. If you are able to give 100, it becomes 200. If you're able to give 1,000, it becomes 2,000.
And some of the people who've been helping in a special way have been able to give $500 or more, which means they not only get Timeless, which is an excellent history of the Catholic Church that Chris Check heartily endorses. He says it's his favorite. They also get the Bad Shepherd's book, and they get the Great Adventure Study Bible. And people who have donated the $500 or more needed for that include Marlene and Troy and Peggy and Mark. John has donated $1,000, which means he not only gets that, he becomes enrolled in the Catholic Answers President's Club. Another John has also donated $1,000, same thing for him. And so thank you to everybody who's donated, regardless of the amount. We very much appreciate it. Now is the time to call. We're in our final hour of this pledge drive. It's crunch time now. We are only 62% of the way towards our 63% now. It's just updated towards our overall drive goal. We may not make it to our overall drive goal, but we really want to get that $15,000 matching challenge. So we do need your help. The number to call is 888-291-8000, or you can go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com.
888-291-8000 is that number. And we're going to continue to do our regular job here. We take that's what we do. We take questions about the Catholic faith from anybody, whether Catholic or not. And we go now to Ethan in Eagle, Idaho, listening to EWTN Channel 130 on Sirius Satellite Radio. Ethan, your question for Jimmy.
Hi. Yeah, I'm Ethan from Eagle, Idaho. I'm not a Catholic. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Oh, okay.
We don't have a strong Catholic presence here in Eagle.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always been curious about what my fellow Christian brethren are doing. So my question to you guys is this: I've always been curious about where the line of authority, the line of priesthood, goes through the Catholic Church down to the present day.
Okay, well, it goes back to each individual priest is ordained by a bishop, and the bishops are ordained by other bishops, and it goes all the way back to Jesus Christ and the apostles. The apostles, when they began to pass from the scene, ordained bishops to continue to shepherd the church in their absence, and so consequently the lines of bishops go all the way back to the apostles themselves, and thus to Jesus Christ himself.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No
Ethan,
problem.
Thank you very much for the call.
Anytime you're wondering about something like that, by all means, give us a call. We'd love to help you out.
There it is, Jimmy. That's what we do here at Catholic Answers. Sometimes I forget to ask for non-Catholic callers on open forum, but it's just a delight when they do call. Sometimes it's a challenge to our faith. Sometimes it's just, hey, what is it that you Catholics believe?
Yeah. And it's an illustration how, for people who are thinking about donating, how Catholic Answers reaches people who aren't even Catholic, but they have questions. They are interested in learning more about the church. Sometimes they may not even believe in God yet, but they're interested in learning about God and about Jesus and about the Catholic Church. And we're here to help them out, to do that spiritual good for them. And your donations are what makes that possible. So please give us a call. The number is 888-291-8000. Once again, it's 888-291-8000.
I often feel like there's just hundreds of radio and TV stations and all the video options that you have, and the messages there, I do think over time can be disheartening to people. They can be dehumanizing. They can be really kind of wearing on the soul. And you just need one Catholic radio program that will be there to give the encouragement and the light of the gospel. And it can help people recover from all that other stuff. And that's what you're doing when you're supporting a program such as Catholic Answers, where it can be pretty dark, frankly, out there in the media landscape. And we need to be there shining a light. And you're making that possible with those calls. For almost every line is lit up right now. We're so grateful for that. I think just one line open, 888-291-8000 is that number. And we have a $15,000 dollar-for-dollar match this hour. So everything that you pledge up to that $15,000 is getting matched dollar for dollar. Let's go to Mike in Albany, New York, listening on WOPG Radio. Mike, your question for Jimmy Akin.
Hey, Jimmy, I heard you a couple weeks ago, and you were talking about one of my favorite subjects, delving into the apocalypse and whatnot. But this was the Thessalonians quote about that he that withholdeth until he be out of the way, that the mystery of iniquity is already at work. And I think you were telling who you believe that is, and I just wanted to run my own thought by it, but I missed it because I was either stepping out of the car or had to run to something, and I couldn't hear it. So,
well, what's your thought first?
Well, I would think it's definitely the Pope, because he's the one that would hold everything in place, and as soon as he be done out of the way, just based on all the prophecies, like, Our Lady of La Salette says, Rome will lose the faith and become the seat of Antichrist. So
actually, that quote is very difficult to verify.
Pope is pushed in place, and then he teaches, he teaches anti-Catholic teaching, and the faithful are deceived, even the elect.
So there are several things that I could comment on. Unfortunately, I'm going to have a restricted amount of time, in part because we have the pledge drive going on today. But I want to do what I can for you. In terms of private revelation, this is not something, the particular quote you mentioned is very difficult to verify. It's out there as a rumor, but it's not something that that you should depend on, and in particular because it's subject to multiple interpretations, and it doesn't even mention the Pope in that regard. So let's talk then about 2 Thessalonians, which is where Paul discusses this concept. In 2 Thessalonians, he is reacting to a rumor that's gotten started in the church at Thessalonica. Some people, based apparently on some things that they thought Paul had said, have gotten the idea that the coming of the Lord is either in the process of happening or has already happened. And he's writing them to say, no, don't you remember when I visited your church, when he founded it, I told you that our Lord would not come back until there's a rebellion first, which is led by an individual he refers to as the man of lawlessness. And he indicates that the man of lawlessness has to be revealed, and he's then going to apparently lead the rebellion, that the man of lawlessness won't be revealed because something is restraining the man of lawlessness from being revealed right now. And until that something is taken out of the way, the man of lawlessness will not appear, and the rebellion will not happen, and Jesus will not return. So there's something preventing the forces of lawlessness from wreaking havoc in the world. And he uses a couple of different genders in Greek grammatically when he talks about what's restraining the man of lawlessness. So we know it can be understood more than one way. And exactly what it is not clear. There's been a lot of speculation on this. Some people have said the Holy Spirit was performing a restraining function. That's certainly true that the Holy Spirit does perform a restraining function. It's unlikely that Paul would have been thinking of the Pope, because that in his day would mean St. Peter, and he's envisioning this as something that could happen in his own lifetime. In fact, in 1 Thessalonians, he says, those of us who are alive and remain. And he puts himself in that category as thinking, maybe I'm still going to be alive when Jesus comes back. So it had to be something that was operating in his own day in some capacity. It's not likely he was thinking about St. Peter, though, as the one who's doing this. He was probably thinking of something more general than that, as illustrated by the fact he uses both the masculine and the neuter gender. Peter's not neuter when he's talking about the restraining force. One thing that has been proposed, since it's restraining the forces of lawlessness, is it's the force of law in the Roman world, that there was going to be a breakdown of law enforcement, and that would lead to an unleashing of the forces of lawlessness. Could it be something more concrete than that? Well, it could. One thing that's been noted is in Latin, the word claudo means to restrain, or to encompass, or hold in. And some people have suggested that since he envisions the man of sin as demanding worship like a Roman emperor, and coming soon like Roman emperors, and being lawless like some Roman emperors, maybe he was thinking of a soon-to-come Roman emperor. And in that case, the current emperor, when he was writing 1 and 2 Thessalonians in the year 50, was Claudius. And so there's some thought that even though ultimately this applies to the end of the world, that Claudius, being a fairly lawful emperor who respected religious liberties and so forth of Jews, and even settled down riots in Alexandria between Greeks and Jews, maybe Claudius was the current manifestation of the restraining force, even though the force of law continued in later ages to be to restrain the forces of lawlessness, so that we have not yet had the final unleashing of the forces of lawlessness.
Mike, thanks very much for that question. It is open forum today on Catholic Answers Live, and Jimmy Akin is our guest. It's also the last hour of our quarterly pledge drive. We have come to the last hour, and as Jimmy was speaking there, almost all of the phone lines opened up. So if you've been thinking of helping us meet this $15,000 dollar for dollar match this hour, $15,000. If we can raise that in this hour, it's two donors, I'm told, will match that for $15,000. So let's use it all up. You just dial 888-291-8000 to make your pledge or your immediate donation, 888-291-8000. As we've said before, I'll just say it again right now, the monthly pledge is a very special thing to us. It really makes a huge difference. If you are someone who could pledge $5 or $10 a month, it just means so much. Every dollar that will be received over the course of the year is matched. So, if it's a $10 a month pledge, that's $120. Immediately, that's matched for $120 by our donors. But if you're able to make that pledge, it's extremely helpful to us. If you are able to make a pledge of $20 or more per month, we're able to send you two very fine books, Bad Shepherds from Rod Bennett, which tells stories of some of the really surprisingly bad bishops we've had throughout the history of the church. And then you can get a one-volume history of the church, Steve Weidenkopf's Timeless, a history of the Catholic Church. Both of those are yours. If you could make a monthly pledge of $20 or more, we'd be delighted to send those to you, just to give you an idea of how this really helps us. And I did the math before I came on the air. So a $20 a month pledge is $240 at the end of the year to us. That's immediately matched by $240 from our matching donors. And so $480 to us at a cost of $20 per month to you. We'd be very grateful if you would dial 888-291-8000 right now and make that pledge, 888-291-8000. If you're a one-time pledger, if you can make a $10 pledge right now, it'll be $20 to us. If you make a $5 pledge, it'll be $10 for us. $100 is $200, as long as we have this match on the table. Again, I will say to those who can make the $500 one-time gift, it's not everybody. We understand that, but there are those who can, and you're very, very important to this ministry. And we'll send you those two books that I just mentioned, but we'll also send you a copy of the twice or thrice out of print Bible from Ascension Press.
An indication of how popular it is.
Extremely popular, and it's beautiful too. I mean, if you could see this, it's well bound. It's a hardy book. It's color coded. It's called the New Adventure Bible because the idea is that the Bible tells the story of an adventure. That adventure being our salvation. And this Bible it gives you all kinds of notes, maps, color codes. It helps you find out where you are in the Bible as you read a book. Like, say, you read one of the prophets, or you read one of the history books of the Bible. It tells you where you're situated and helps you understand what is this book accomplishing here in the Bible. A way to really help you, many people have made the commitment, I'm going to read the Bible this year or next year or whatever, and many of us have struggled to do that. This Bible will help you keep that commitment. We're able to give it to you if you're able to make that one-time $500 donation right now, 888-291-8000.
So, Si, I've been doing some checking on the numbers, and we only have a little more than 30 minutes left to talk about the pledge drive, and we are not yet halfway to our $15,000 matching challenge goal.
Wow.
So we need to get closer, and we really don't want to lose any money on that. Please, if you're able to, give us a call. We have lines open. People are at their desks just waiting to talk to you. They're not talking to anyone else right now. They're really waiting for you. Give them a call at 888-291-8000, or you can go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. You can even do that on your phone as long as you're not driving. Want to be safe, and support Catholic Answers Live. If possible, please make a monthly pledge that will give us dependability in knowing how much income we're going to be receiving month to month over the next year. If you're able to make a one-time gift, that's great too. I mentioned earlier in the first hour, we talked a little bit about the different giving societies we have here at Catholic Answers for our donors who are able to give at higher levels. One of them is the President's Club, and you become a member of that if you're able to donate $1,000 during the course of a year. It doesn't have to be all at once. You could make a monthly pledge of $85 or whatever it may be, and that would add up to $1,000 over the course of a year. You'd become part of the President's Club. And among the benefits of being a member of the President's Club is you're entitled for free to everything Catholic Answers publishes during the next year. So we'd love to have you as a member of the President's Club. If you're able to donate $5,000 or more, and I know there are people listening right now who could do that, we'd like to have you join our Founders Circle, which is a higher level giving society that we has even more benefits. One of them is we invite you to come to our Founders Circle retreat so that you can be involved in the planning of the future work of Catholic Answers. We give every year presentations to our Founders Circle members on what the work of the apostolate is doing, how people are responding to it. We ask for feedback, and we'd love to have you be one of our key advisors on the Founders Circle. Please give us a call, 888-291-8000, or go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. We are going to be coming up on a hard break in just a few minutes, and that's obviously a great time to call as well. But we do need to hear from you now. We're kind of stuck a little bit at the moment, and if at all possible, please contact us either 888-291-8000 or go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com.
888-291-8000 is that number. Up next is Isaiah in Lincoln, Nebraska, listening on Spirit Catholic Radio. Isaiah, your question for Jimmy.
Hey, Jimmy and Cy. Before I ask my question, I just wanted to make a quick word of thanks. I just grew up Catholic, went to Catholic school, and even spent some time in the seminary. But there's always more questions.
Yeah.
And so it has been so edifying and such a huge gift to listen to you guys almost every day.
Well, thank you.
So I just want to thank you for that. Yeah, it really means a lot to me. So thank you for all your work. My question, I was conversing with a Lutheran coworker, and we were talking about the Eucharist transubstantiation versus consubstantiation. And I got stuck with consubstantiation and why that is incorrect. So if you could explain that, Jimmy.
Sure.
I appreciate that.
So not all Lutherans favor the term consubstantiation, although it is the most common description of their position. For people who may not be familiar with the term, the idea is that in the Eucharist there really is bread and wine there, but the body and blood of Jesus Christ are present in, and this is the more preferred language among Lutheran theologians, the body and blood of Christ are present in, with, and under the bread and wine. So essentially, you have actual literal bread, and you have also Jesus' body and blood present in, with, and under that bread and wine. Now, in terms of why the Catholic Church doesn't hold that position, it goes back to the language that's used in Scripture. In Scripture, you find language that is realistic in terms of the presence of Christ. It talks about, this is my body, this is my blood. Jesus talks about, unless you eat my flesh and drink my blood, you have no life in you. You have St. Paul using similar language, and he even repeats the words of institution in 1 Corinthians. Then you have other language that does talk about, that does talk about bread and wine, that uses language like the bread that we eat. Is it not a participation in the body of Christ? So the question is, how do you interpret this language? Well, you could interpret the bread and wine language as if that's literal, in which case Jesus' realistic language would be some kind of symbol. And that's the view that's taken, for example, in Baptist churches typically. However, it's problematic because Jesus does not explain this as a symbol when he's given the opportunity to do that in John 6. Also, it doesn't make sense of Paul saying things like it's a participation in the body of Christ. He doesn't say it's a symbol. So the symbol view is problematic. Well, then that would suggest that, okay, this bread and wine language is not meant literally, it's meant phenomenologically. Phenomenological language is the language of appearances, like when we say the sun rises, because it appears to rise, even though we know after Isaac Newton that the orbital mechanics are a little bit different than the way they appear if you're standing on the surface of the Earth. So, because the elements continue to look like bread and wine, it's perfectly reasonable to say, okay, that language is phenomenological. Scripture is using the language of appearances here without meaning it literally. Just like when it says a man appeared at Jesus' tomb, and it means an angel, but he looked like a man.
Yeah.
So it's the language of appearances. That allows Jesus' literalness, his literal language, this is my body, this is my blood, to be taken in its natural sense. And so the transubstantiation position that he is speaking literally when he says, this is my body, makes sense of both kinds of language here, both the literal language about his body and blood and the phenomenological language about bread and wine. What doesn't make sense, and the kind of language we don't find in Scripture, is language that says, this is bread, and in, with, and under it is my body and blood.
Yeah.
He says, this is my body, not this contains my body, or this is over my body, or anything like that. And so, exegetically speaking, if you're trying to make sense of the language that Scripture uses, the consubstantiation language is just not found there, but the transubstantiation view does make sense of it. We're going to have to run. We're going into a hard break now. That means it's an excellent time for you to call 888-291-8000 or go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com.
We're right in the last half hour now of our Great Big Giant Pledge Drive to be funded for the next 3 months. Give a call.
Catholic Answers Live would like to take this opportunity to thank our partners in airing our daily program. Please support the stations and networks that carry us each day, ensuring that we have a platform for broadcasting the show. And please bear in mind that while we don't have to pay for airtime on our affiliate stations, neither do they contribute to the operating costs we incur. It's a great relationship, but it requires that we turn to you, our devoted listeners, for your prayers and financial support to cover our ever-growing expenses. Please call 888-291-8000 right now and help to keep Catholic Answers Live strong. That's 888-291-8000. Or you can donate securely online at CatholicAnswersRadio.com. What began as a humble one-hour daily show that was carried by 4 stations has, with the generosity of many fantastic people like you, blossomed into a 2-hour broadcast heard on hundreds of AM and FM stations, the internet, Sirius XM radio, Facebook, YouTube, and via podcast. We don't make that possible. You do. We simply cannot continue this media mission without your most generous gift today. Call 888-291-8000 or log on to CatholicAnswersRadio.com and donate now. People tell us all the time how much they depend on Catholic Answers Live to help them better learn, live, and share their faith. What they're really saying is they depend on you for that. Will you come through for them right now? It only takes a couple of minutes to make a huge difference at 888-291-8000 or CatholicAnswersRadio.com. Again, 888-291-8000 or CatholicAnswersRadio.com. No matter how much you give, be assured of our gratitude and know that God will richly bless you. Phone 888-291-8000 or go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. It's important that you take this important step right now, today, to make sure that Catholic Answers Live is here tomorrow and for years to come. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Hi, this is Dr. David Anders. If you just don't understand something about the Catholic faith, Call to Communion is the show for you. Join us Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio. Now, back to Catholic Answers Live.
Less than a half hour now left till we go off the air and no longer ask you for the next 3 months for any funding or help. We have not yet used up the $15,000 match. As a matter of fact, there's a considerable ways to go to use up our $15,000 match this hour. 888-291-8000 is the number to call, or you can go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. I'm going to keep you advised throughout the next half hour how we're doing, but I can tell you right now, it seems very likely we will get to the point where I will say, we're going to need some $5,000 and $10,000 donations if we're going to make it to being fully funded.
Why wait
for the next? So
why wait? Say it now.
Okay, we're gonna. I see what you're saying, Jimmy. Yeah, it's the case. We're going to need some $5,000 and $10,000 donations. I often feel a little squeamish to say those big numbers, but I know there are people who can do it. I know there are people who have the generosity to do it as well. And that combination may be a rare one, but I know it is one that is out there among our listeners. And I will give the number again, 888-291-8000, 888-291-8000.
Or you can go to
CatholicAnswersRadio.com.
Can you go on your phone?
The thing is, they optimized it for your phone. I don't know how they even do that, but it works. It's supposed to, you open up that iPhone or that Android phone or whatever your smartphone is, and it looks like it belongs on your phone. It's super easy to do on your phone.
So you're saying Catholic Answers is trying to make it really easy for people to support its work?
Well, we ain't dumb, Jimmy. 888-291-8000 is the number. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, whatever you use, it's going to be optimized for you. Just go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. I will say it one more time, and I will not be shy about it this time. We're going to need some big donors to step up. If we're going to make our goal by the end of this hour, we're going to need some of those $5,000 and $10,000 donations. I will give you updates as we go. We start this half hour with Mariana in Idaho, listening on Salt and Light Radio. I think that's our second call from Idaho today. Mariana?
It is.
Your question for Jimmy.
Hi, yes, my question is, so my brother passed away suddenly 2 months ago.
Oh, I'm so
of a
sorry.
heart attack.
Oh, sorry, Mariana.
Yeah, so my question is, because he died suddenly, and he was raised as a Catholic, but he left the religion, and he didn't believe in any organized religion, although he did believe in God and Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
But he was separated from his wife, and he lived with another woman. So my question is, if when he died, supposedly in a state of mortal sin, right? Did he automatically go to hell, or did God great mercy? Maybe I don't know if God gives a last chance for people to repent, because we don't know if he repented or not of his sins.
Mm-hmm.
I just
So what I can tell you is that the church does not hold that people who die in this kind of situation automatically go to hell. We don't know what happens in the privacy of an individual's heart in the last moments of life. We do know that God is merciful and that he cares for people. The fact that your brother, even if he wasn't living the way he should in every respect, the fact that he continued to believe in God and Jesus, those are signs of hope. But even if he hadn't, God is capable of reaching every person with his mercy. And according to the Second Vatican Council, God gives every person the possibility of being saved, even if it's in a mysterious way that we can't see or perceive. And so consequently, you can't simply look to someone's external behavior during their life as a sure sign of either their salvation or the lack of salvation, even if they were in a state of mortal sin, and that's something you can't judge just based on their behavior, because you have to take into account other things like, how much knowledge did they have, was this deliberate, their own level of responsibility is something that we can't, from an outside perspective, assess. That's something only God can assess. So we can't assume that someone is in mortal sin. But even if they are in mortal sin, right up to the time that they start to die, God is still capable of reaching them in those moments. And in fact, you mentioned your brother has a heart attack. That's something that, people do typically have some oncoming warning signs. They may have started to repent as soon as they realized they were in trouble.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that can prompt repentance. And even if they didn't have that in their conscious minds before they lost consciousness, God can reach people in the depths of their being, even in ways that we can't perceive in this life. And so it would be entirely appropriate for you and other people to pray for your brother. One of the things that Pope Benedict talks about in his letter on Christian hope is that it's never too late to pray for anyone. We can always pray for our lost loved ones. And one of the reasons for that, lost meaning they've died, one of the reasons for that is because God is outside of time. And so from eternity, he sees your prayer right now, even 2 months after your brother's death, or 2 years or 20 years after your brother's death. He sees that and can apply his grace to your brother at the moment he needs it, when he's in the process of dying. And so it's never too late to pray for anyone. You can even pray for God to give his mercy to your brother across time, because back when your brother was dying, our God saw your prayer today and could apply it back then. So I want to give you hope. And as Pope Benedict said, it's never too late to pray for anyone. And I'd like to encourage the audience to also pray for your brother and to everyone who's met God in an untimely fashion or is going to meet him today.
Does that help, Mariana?
Yes, thank you very much. Is there also any prayers that you think could help more than others, or if I do any sacrifices or any penance or anything else that I could do to help him?
What counts more than anything else is just the fact that you want to help. God knows that intention and that desire on your part, and just express it in your own words. If you feel more comfortable with the pre-written prayer, you could always pray the Lord's Prayer, the Our Father, or the Hail Mary. But whatever you pray, the most important thing is just the fact that you love your brother and you want to help him, and God knows that.
Mariana, God bless you. Thank you so much for that call. Again, I come back to this. It's like a theme today. When the true gospel of Jesus Christ is very liberating and gives us great hope and great reason to hope. When it's not doing that, it's probably not the gospel that is associated with Christ. I have to tell you, we still haven't used up the match.
No, we haven't.
So I'm going to give you the phone number again, 888-291-8000. I don't know who this donor is, Chris. He gave us $103.75, and God bless you, Chris. Thanks for that. And he said this about our show: great talent, ... even sigh. I'm not sure how to take that, Chris, but I appreciate the donation.
Take it for the compliment it is.
You're right, Jimmy. Well, but yeah, I feel like you might be pulling my leg, Chris. But we're very grateful for the donation.
He's joshing with you, which is a sign of affection.
Again, that number, I can see more than half of our phone lines are open right now. We still have match money on the table, 888-291-8000. Every pledge or donation helps. If you can make a $5 pledge, it's going to be doubled to $10. If you make $100, it's going to be doubled to $200. $1,000, $2,000, up to $15,000 this hour. We are making progress, and we're very, very grateful for it. Even if your donation comes with a smart aleck comment about me, we're so happy to get affectionate comment, right? 888-291-8000 is that number. Fill up those lines right now. 888-291-8000.
And by the way, Si, we have not only our $15,000 goal that we're trying to meet this hour, but we also have our overall drive goal. And
that's a good point.
We've made a lot of progress since yesterday. Yesterday, at the beginning of the second hour that I was on, we were only 33% of the way there. And now we're 73% of the way there. So we've made up 40% in the 2.5 hours that I've been on the air with you. But we still have 27% to go. And and only less than 30 minutes now, only less than 20 minutes now. So we really do need to hear from people. The number to call is 888-291-8000. You can also go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com.
888-291-8000. You can hear that it's going to be a close shave this time. Sometimes they are, but if you are one of those people who can make that $1,000 or $5,000 donation at the $1,000 level, you'll get all the gifts that we mentioned earlier. You'll also be a member of President's Club. At the $5,000 level, you will be a member of the Founders Circle. You can go to our website and find out all the things that go with that. But what goes with it more than anything else is our sincere gratitude for that. And we need you right now.
And you can hear the spiritual benefit that Catholic Answers Live provides, and the kind of sensitive situations that people call in about. They may have very personal situations, like we've had just in this hour, we may have people who aren't even Catholic who are listening who call in, again, just like this hour. Right. So Catholic Answers Live is meeting real needs for people, and your generosity makes that possible. And thus, by extension, you're helping people in those situations. You're helping bring people who are not Catholic closer to God and closer to His church. You're helping people who have had personal tragedies happen. You're helping them get the comfort they need and the spiritual insight that they need to deal with those situations. So thank you so much for your generosity. If you haven't called in yet, or if you want to raise your pledge, give us a call. The number is 888-291-8000. Once again, it's 888-291-8000. And you can also go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. You can do that even on your phone, even if you're not in the United States.
888-291-8000 or CatholicAnswersRadio.com. What's that number? You said 27% left to be fully funded for the next 3 months. Yep. So your call, your visit to CatholicAnswersRadio.com are welcome. Let's go to Ron in Chesapeake, Virginia, listening to EWTN on Sirius XM Satellite Radio Channel 130. Ron, your question for Jimmy.
Yeah, thank you, guys, and thanks for your ministry. This is just an awesome show.
Thank you.
So my question is, our church is teaching on the kind of life after death, as in the having loved ones kind of appear, searching them out after they've gone. This idea that they are appearing to you in different ways, and even in almost ghostly ways. Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to get a sense if that's actually healthy, or because it's about a close friend who I know is extremely spiritual, a very devout Catholic, mm-hmm. who lost his wife for many years, and he's done a lot of research of life after death, things of that nature, and I'm just fearful that if he doesn't know the truth and we aren't able to help him with this, he might actually be perhaps dealing in things that could be evil.
Okay. So what I can tell you is that obviously the church holds that the human spirit survives death, and also the church recognizes that God sometimes allows departed spirits to manifest in a way that people here on earth are capable of perceiving. Sometimes that happens in the form of a vision, like of one of the Mary or one of the saints. Sometimes it happens in the form of a voice. Sometimes it happens in the form of just a sensed presence. So all of those are possible. It's up to God to decide when and how departed souls may be able to manifest to us. It's even something, we could ask God for. You could say, and as a widower myself, I didn't do this myself, but it would have been legitimate when I lost my wife to say, God, if it's okay with you, could you let my wife's spirit manifest in some way, just so I can have that as an added comfort. And so it's legitimate to ask God for that. And then if God does allow someone to manifest to you, it's legitimate to say thank you or give them a prayer request or something like that. What's not legitimate is to try to conjure that person up. If you're trying to conjure someone up, as opposed to merely asking God if it's His will to let you have a sense that someone's okay, if you're actually trying to summon them, then that's where it crosses the line into necromancy. And necromancy is forbidden by the Bible and by the church. And so what you can't do is try to use magical or superstitious practices to get someone from the dead to manifest to you, and especially not to try to get information out of them. Any such appearances have to be on God's initiative and under His control. And you can ask, but you can't directly summon.
I hope that was helpful to you and to your friend there, Ron. Appreciate the call. It is open forum today on Catholic Answers Live. In addition to being open forum, we're now in the last 10 minutes from now. We'll be done asking you for money on air for the next 3 months. Thank you to all who have given, and
we are making progress. We're now at 74%, so we still need to make up 26% in order to fully fund our drive goal.
We're at 26% now. If you can help us make up that 26% that's missing at the moment, we'd be very grateful. You can call 888-291-8000. As you might imagine, towards the end of the pledge drive like this, the phones become quite busy. If you have a problem getting through, you can always dial again.
We still have lines open, though, I can see.
Or if there's any trouble at all, just go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. It's very quick, safe, and secure there. 888-291-8000 is that number. I want to review again the gifts and levels and all of that stuff. But before I do that, I just would like to make an appeal to those who may have the means to make a significant dent in this 26% we still are yet to raise in the next 15 minutes. If you are able to make that $1,000 donation, if you're able to make perhaps a $2,500 donation, some are able to make donations $5,000, $10,000, even $20,000, and it's well within their means. If you can do that, we are in a position where we can be 100% funded for the next 3 months here very, very shortly. If you would pick up the phone and call 888-291-8000, we would be most grateful. A reminder, again, that the monthly pledger is a very special person to us. It's very helpful if you are able to make a monthly pledge, $5, $10, $15 a month. It's all very welcome because it gives us an income that we can depend on when, I'll be honest, I mean, the hardest months around here are July, August, September. It gets a bit tight then, and those monthly donors all of a sudden are our best friends in the world during those months. So if you can make a monthly pledge of $20 or more, we're able to send you 2 very fine books as a thank you. Bad Shepherds, The Dark Years in Which the Faithful Thrived While the Bishops Did the Devil's Works. A lot of fascinating stories about bishops not living up to their vocation, let's say, throughout the history of the church. It actually is a book that gives you a lot of hope when you see what the church has survived and how it thrives, even despite some who take an evil path in her leadership. The other book is Steve Weidenkopf's book, Timeless, A History of the Catholic Church. Our own president, historian Chris Check, has blurbed it as the finest 1-volume history of the Catholic Church he has ever read. At a $20 per month pledge, we can send those to you. If you're one of those people who can make a one-time $500 gift, we'll send you both of those books, but we'll also send you the Great Adventure Bible, a Bible that has proved exceeded all expectations for its publishing this year. It keeps going out of print and then having to be printed up again.
But we have some.
But we got some to give you. As a matter of fact, we got enough for anybody who can make that $5 pledge. We have a promise.
$500 pledge.
What did I say?
$5.
A $500 pledge, yes. A one-time pledge. We'll give you those other 2 books. And the great thing about the Great Adventure Bible is it helps you to know where you are in the story of salvation as you read each book and each chapter of the Bible.
And stories are awesome, especially ones that are true.
Yeah, right. And the stories the Holy Spirit tells really can profit you in all kinds of ways. Again, the number 888-291-8000. We have 26% of our goal to go towards meeting our goal. You can go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com, safe and secure online. I'll let you know when we go off the air here in a little bit. There will still be people answering the phones. They'll stay answering phones as long as the phones keep ringing. We'll take your call. And if you're listening overnight, it all counts to this. As a matter of fact, I think for the next week it will count for this pledge drive if you give online, right, or something like that.
Yeah,
because we
know
that
even if
people
it's
live.
after that, it'll go towards the drive that's underway at that time.
Oh, I see.
We always have a drive going on in principle,
Gotcha.
even if we're not actively talking about it on the air.
So if you're one of those who's a week behind and you're listening or something like that, go ahead and go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com, CatholicAnswersRadio.com, and make your pledge of support. Once again, I will make the call, and I'll turn it over to Jimmy here. But if you are one of those large donors who can make that $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 donation, maybe you're someone who can make a $10,000 or $20,000 donation, I can say with all sincerity, we need your help right now. 888-291-8000 is the number.
And if you are able to make a larger donation, then we'd like to enroll you in one of our giving societies. If you're able to donate $1,000 or more, you'll become part of the Catholic Answers President's Club, which, among other things, will entitle you to free copies of everything we publish in the next year. If you're able to donate $5,000 or more, you'll become a member of the Catholic Answers Founders Circle, which means that we'll be consulting you about the future direction of the ministry, and as well as giving you everything that we produce for free in the next year. And because these are annual things, you don't have to give the $1,000 or $5,000 all at once. You can break that up into monthly donations. In the case of a $1,000 donation for the President's Club, I think that works out to $85 a month, something like that.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more for $5,000, but either way, however it works with your finances, we'd love to have you as a member of one of these giving societies. And the number to call is 888-291-8000. You can also find out more about them at Catholic.com, and you can make a donation if you prefer, or if you aren't able to get through on the phone lines, by going to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. At the moment, though, we have folks available standing by, but those lines may fill up momentarily because we're at the end of the hour, and that means that it's going to be an excellent time for you to call. Number one, because you're thinking about it, and the best time to do something is when you're thinking about it. Number two, because we're not going to be able to be talking about it in the future for another 3 months. Number three, it's a great time to call because you're not going to miss anything. And number four, it's going to be a great time to call because we have people standing by just for you right now.
We've seen some very disturbing things in recent months and years, including this new and extraordinary push in states across our country here in the United States to do morally outrageous things and to enshrine them in law. We see a real corruption of the media, and I don't just mean, I'm not talking about news media, I mean the media as a corrupting force on culture. We don't have to just say that's the way it is. We can do our part to provide good, healthy, wholesome, and helpful media.
And that's what you're doing by supporting Catholic Answers Live.
That's exactly what you're doing when you call or go online. I want to give out that online address again because you can do it on your phone, you can do it on your computer, and we're pretty, at this time, as we hit the last few minutes of a pledge drive, the phones are going to be full for some people. So just go over to CatholicAnswersRadio.com. Your pledge goes to the exact same place. Your gift goes to the exact same place. If you make it a $20 a month recurring gift, then you'll still get the same
Timeless
gifts.
and Bad Shepherds.
Right. If you make a $500 one-time gift, you'll get both of those, and you'll get the New Adventure, the Great Adventure Bible, I should say. But more than anything else, you know it. We know it. We can feel it in our bones more than maybe at any other time. The gospel is needed in the public place, in the public square, where people are. The gospel must be proclaimed. The truth about Christ and his church, about his sacraments, about his intimate love for each and every soul, it must be shared. That's what we try to do every day. We can't do it without you. 888-291-8000.
And if you are able to help out, then, and almost everyone really can, almost everyone can help out in one way or another. But by doing that, you'll be gaining a reward for yourself in eternity, because God loves a cheerful giver. He specifically promises to reward people who use their resources to help promote His Word and the preaching of His Word, and consequently, by supporting Catholic Answers Live and all the work of Catholic Answers, you'll be doing just that. You'll be promoting getting God's Word out there so it can help more people. You'll also be helping yourself because, by listening to the show, you derive benefit from listening to the show. You may have been listening for years and may never have given, but now's the time you need to do that, and by doing that, you're doing a spiritual work of mercy, and you will consequently be rewarded for that in the next life, when we'll have the opportunity to see all of the good that our generosity was able to produce for God. So now is the time to call. It's a great time to call. You're not going to miss anything. The number is 888-291-8000, and if you're listening after we're off the air, you can also, we're going to still have people here for a while until the phones stop ringing, but then you can go to CatholicAnswersRadio.com no matter when you're listening or where you're listening from.
We can do this. It's very exciting. We're down to 24% left to be fully funded. If you want to know, look, there's somebody that can do it. If you want to call up and say, hey, what's the number you need to finish this thing fully funded, just call and ask. They'll figure it out for you, and you can do it for us. We are 76% of the way, headed to 77% of the way done, and we might make it to 100%. I know the music's playing, but there's people on the lines calling 888-291-8000. There's good hope we'll get this thing done, wrapped up, and paid for the next 3 months. More than anything, thank you for your support. CatholicAnswersRadio.com or 888-291-8000.